personally, I see Thailand as a good part of the world community. Thailand has to be able to provide something for the world. So tourism has been one of the pillars of Thailand's economy. In other words, we could do things like massage or, restaurants or food much better than we do the hard stuff from the factory. I was away from Thailand for 15 years. And you know what? I came back finding the same rich people still rich, even richer. So we are talking about bridging the income gap. That is the most detrimental problem of all. Secondly, Thailand needs to find its own strength. What does it do good in the new world? Thai people must be able to speak English better because these languages are the tools of survivability. The intentions of Thailand is to have our country not in conflict, not in hot pursuit with anyone, but in the serenity, in the very confident mode that we can really go over some historical disagreements onto what we need in the future. That's how I see Thailand.
CHG Global Leaders Magazine. Behind the lens.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jakrapob Penkair. Today is our great pleasure from the CHG Global Leaders Magazine. Before I asking you, maybe can you introduce yourself a little bit about you today?
My name is Jakrapob Penkair. I'm a Thai citizen, obviously, and I was a journalist and officer of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Thailand before entering my own private media production at the time and eventually in politics. And in the political career, I had been government spokesman of the first Thaksin Shinawatra government. I became deputy chief of staff to the prime minister in the second Thaksin administration. And for the Samak administration, eventually after the coup d'etat in 2006, I became minister of prime minister's office. And then because of the political upheaval, I had to go for the exile for 15 years away from the country and back in the country a year and a half. And now I rejoined the government as advisor to the Prime Minister's Secretary General, which is my current position.
Probably we know already about Kun Jakrapob. It's very interesting profile. And then I think the interesting question I want to raise to you, okay, as your advisor to the Prime Minister, Secretary General, what is your vision for Thailand role in the regional and global diplomacy?
Very good broad question. Well, personally, I see Thailand as a good part of the world community. We don't consider ourselves ambitious. We want to coexist peacefully and productively with other members of the world community. We don't want to be seen as a troublemaker. We want to be a good part of it, a very serene element to the world community. In achieving that, I believe Thailand has to be economically independent. It has to be able to take care of its own economic welfare. We don't aim to be a super rich country, but we should be able to rid ourselves of the poverty. I believe that economically, people are better off having more choices in life. If the government can provide more choices for the people, then the country's economy is considered better. That's how I see Thailand. And because of the political adjustment that we have to do time and time again, I believe that Thailand has learned from the political situations in the country and try to make a more stable, in politics for Thailand. That's my aim. I think people should be provided by more choices of economic styles.
As from as the CHG Global Leaders Magazine, from your answer, when you say Thailand economic independently,
yes,
how your vision on this? You know that today is a geopolitics coming up. Now.
It is.
Now, it's important point.
There are two words to be clear here. One is independent. The other one is interdependent. You're right. I think your magazine's standpoint is very correct. We are in the interdependent world. That is very clear. Not every country produces their own product without, or hardly without, the elements from other countries. We are each other's supply chains, increasingly every day. But why I use the term independent? I use that term so that each country, Thailand included, should be aimed for the ability to take care of themselves. We don't want to be a country with great debts or to become a burden to other countries or the world community. We want Thailand to be dignified, economically viable, doesn't have to be rich, like I said. And in that situation, Thailand would be confident enough to engage in the world of activity as interdependent activities. In other words, we provide the world with the best of ours, and we get the best of the world they can provide to us. So this is what I mean by being independent and then interdependent. I believe that would lead to a better world.
How do you see the Thailand balancing the national priority with the global responsibility in the year ahead from now?
That is a challenging question. The world keeps changing, and Thailand, as any other countries, sometimes finds it hard to keep up with how fast the world has changed. For example, we have changed from the so-called analog to digital world, that things are faster, things are being more integrated and combined, and we have to deal with the outputs. And now we are going towards the world of AI, artificial intelligence, that some countries and some peoples are viewing AI as a new threat to humanity. That's a very pessimistic view. And for the very optimistic view, AI would be changing the world for the better. Health-wise, AI would help us determine what's wrong with ourselves from the DNA cells out to the outer body. In other words, in the optimistic way, AI would be a godsend. For people who are still skeptical would think of it as the new threat. They would take over the humanity. They would change the way of living totally. So my reply to your question is, any government, especially Thailand's, we have to strike a good balance between those two extremes. That's our job. The job is to provide people with better choices, right? But these choices must be agreeable by the people themselves. People might feel that AI would steal their jobs, but at the same time, AI would add to the economic well-being for themselves. So how could they reconcile between these two extremes? I think that's the job of the government. So I see that as the first job, how to balance the extremes. The second, that I see Thailand in the world context or in the global reference, is that Thailand has to be able to provide something for the world. I mean, yes, we have domestic products, goods and services, but Thailand has to ask itself if we have anything good enough to offer as the world products. That's something that we have to go towards. Because in the process of launching the global products, it means that Thailand has to restructure the whole economic creation domestically. Inside have to be ready, so outside would be of premium standards. So I see external economic situations and internal economic limitations as the same, two sides of the same coin. So Thailand is aiming to be opening itself in every way, economically, if you use the word, that cover it all, economically. And then in maybe the smaller part, the Thai people have to feel like they are part of the world. We cannot push Thailand globally while people feel themselves only domestically. They have to feel confidence. They have to feel stability. They have to feel hopeful in going towards the world. So the country and the people must go together.
As we know today, we are now facing all the AI, right? every country is now learn on the AI and to apply everything. I think the important thing is the human capital. How would you think about how human capital for the government to put this as I say the top priority for the national? I think it's important for the human capital investment, and how Thailand and will move on this. What your view on this?
I believe that judging from the history, successful nations and empires have started with human capital development. Of course, in the ancient time, we might be talking about the warring techniques and the fighting innovations. But today we talked about economic survivability. So countries, including Thailand, we have to aim at the very good educational system. We have to aim for the training systems. We have to aim for the retraining systems. For example, the AI emergence require, I wouldn't say require, but maybe mandate that many people be out of the job.
Definitely.
Like translators are now being surrendering to, the chat GPT or the other API elements.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, some even say the lawyers are the threat of of being swept off because the computer can recite all the laws and integrate them better than any persons could do.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever people think it may happen with the nightmare or the good dreams, but changes are coming.
Yes.
So the government, any governments, have to be mindful and do not do anything in the hiding nature. They have to face it, look in the eyes, see the problems, admit to our strengths and our weaknesses. For Thailand, I wouldn't say about the strength that we have, because that is already good. We just enhance them. But how about the weaknesses? I would mention some, that the government would target them with vengeance. I'm not answering to you in order, just what I can think of naturally here. One is international language proficiency. I believe that most Thai people are still have a lot to add to. We have 12 free education in English, but the outcome is not much successful. That's what we create ourselves. Thai people must be able to speak English better, perhaps Chinese too, perhaps Korean, perhaps Bahasa, because these languages are the tools of survivability and self-development. And I believe that we are still lacking of many things. We can add to that. Secondly, we cannot allow people to be in debt forever. Because when you are in debt, a small portion, this small portion of debt can grow into big debts. And eventually, before you know it, it becomes an obstacle, a roadblock to a person's development. He or she cannot feed himself or herself or the families. So I would call it the evil cycle of debt has to be dealt with. And Thailand would do it with vengeance, that people have to have a good restart. Otherwise, they can't participate in the new economy because of the past problems in their lives. And the third immediate problem that I see now in Thailand is that we have to concentrate on the good side of competition. Some people say that, globalization is dead. Free trade is not as free. Well, that might be true. But we have to make use of the best elements of them in enhancing the standing of Thai people and government. For example, Thailand has made the so-called free trade agreement with many countries.
Yes.
The first two would be of Australia's and New Zealand's. I just want to cite the first two. No need to talk about after or other bigger ones. I believe that Thailand still doesn't make use of these international agreements enough.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to do more.
Yes.
We have to cooperate more.
Yes, yes.
In the past, Thailand may be a little less developed. So we have nothing, or we have only a few things to trade or to barter. Now we have more. For example, Thailand would talk in the so-called barter or account trade more and more. You know, 20 years ago, we did a very, some would say, strange deal. We want to buy military planes from Sweden, Gripen. But we don't want to create the situation that the debt situation would be too exceeding. You know, what did we do? We offer to pay for the planes with the agricultural communities. At the time, we used the word chicken, sliced roast chicken, in exchange of the plane from Sweden. So by doing that, we don't have to spend our hard-earned international currencies. Right. So we would do more of that. Many countries in the world, for example, like I don't want to name the countries, it might be too unfair because it's still not signed yet, but some prominent countries in Africa, in Europe, and even in Arabian Peninsula, you know, including the GCC group. We are starting to talk in the language of the country more and more, because it is the people's welfare that we focus on. It's not the money. The government is not there to make money. The government is there to make the lives of the people better. And we see this method of economic transaction as beneficial to both countries. So that's just some examples of things that we see ourselves in the world context, and we will continue to do it.
I think the important thing, what I can summarize, I think number one, I want to come to it with your answer and sharing and about, you know, Thailand have been signed many agreements, right? I am fully agree, you know, that we are not, I think we can see that I think we should come back to review, for the regional actually,
right.
Instead of go to the globally, So maybe regional is more beneficially.
Yes.
For example, Thailand have been ASEAN free trade area with AFTA, but I also study about the AFTA, very good actually, but we are not yet used enough, Especially what is AFTA need to improve today is about sensitive leaves.
Right.
They have been sensitive list, but need to compromise each other.
Yes.
That's the issue. That's an obstacle today for the ASEAN.
That's right.
ASEAN should move forward, work together more, reduce the list of the sensitive list, like you mentioned the list of some item. Need to be, free trade area.
That's
so
right.
we should, consider on this, and then that's important. And then number two, today I think not only for Thailand, for issue on the AI is coming. I think for the government policies, it's difficult to issue the law regulation because it's a gap between the young people and old people.
Right.
And how to
Correct.
bridge the gap on this. In terms of the implement the law, regulation, everything.
Right.
This is a big challenge. So
Right.
not only for this, but what just we are talking about the human capital also. So this is could be what we asking you now could be the first priority also. That's important. What I can say, it's not only for Thailand, but from whole country around the
That's
world.
right. That's
for example, China, they have already AI in
right.
school, for example.
Yes.
So but we have the gap. Every country have the gap on this between the old people and young people. And number three, I want to ask you also, what are the most passing the governance, the challenge Thailand based on the today, and how is the government addressing them now?
Well, that requires some answers, but I'll try to be as brief as possible. I think one of the main challenges that is facing Thailand is the gap of income, the disparity of income distribution in Thailand. I was away from Thailand for 15 years. And you know what? I came back finding the same rich people still rich, even richer. So, in other words, the capital groups of Thailand have not changed that much. Of course, the government doesn't look to destroy or undo what the successful businesses have accomplished. That's good for the country as well. But we have to worry about the other half of the country, which is not as developed or as lucrative as the other half. So we are talking about bridging the income gap. The first one. That is the most detrimental problem of all. Secondly, Thailand needs to find its own strength. What does it do good in the new world? For example, this is my own personal opinion, not the government's, but I doubt it if anyone would disagree much. I think between products and services, or goods and services, Thailand has done much better in services. In terms of industrialization, yes, we can do a lot. But I don't think that is within our soul. The Thai soul is about artistry, softness, gentleness, arts, and also lifestyle. In other words, we could do things like massage or, restaurants or food much better than we do the hard stuff from the factory. We can do those, but not as good as a country where the discipline have been strongly input there. In other words, I start to admit that Thailand, like any other countries, have to realize its own strength. What does it do good? What good does it do? What kind of goods and services? What kind of goods and products that we can do best? That our people would be more than happy to go along, right? So tourism has been one of the pillars of Thailand's economy. Soft power has been made another pillar of the economy. And the third pillar is what you mentioned as human capital. We are going to invest a lot more. For example, you heard about some problem we have with Cambodia recently, which is unfortunate. We had planned to do a lot of wonders with Cambodia because Cambodia needs us and we need Cambodia. But the fighting erupted and derailed everything else. We have to wait a while. But my point is this. In the situation with Cambodia, you can notice that Thailand still maintain the bilateral stance. It means that Thailand doesn't want to enlarge the conflict by invite people to come in. We just resolved it solely with Cambodia because we want to limit it to a small conflict only. So the intentions of Thailand is to have our country not in conflict, not in hot pursuit with anyone, but in the serenity, in the very confident mode that we can really go over some historical disagreements onto what we need in the future. That's how I see Thailand.
Good inspiration to the world to understand more how's the Thailand, today. Okay, so next, the fourth question I want to ask you, in your view, how can the public service, the leadership inspire the leader? I mean, also how's the confidence and among the citizen for the leadership inspire.
Well, a former prime minister of Thailand once taught me, if you want to lead anybody, follow them well. The point is, we cannot realize ourselves being so powerful or legally entitled. We have to see people as one same family as ours. I would go a little further in saying that good leaders must have compassion to begin with, even before talents.
Yes.
Even before powers. Leaders have to have compassion. Compassion is the feeling of sympathy with other people, with the plight, with the problems. When we see the problems, we feel a part of that. If leaders do have that, leaders would be kept in a very safe situation compared to leaders who are cruel, brutal, dictatorial towards people, that everyone would run away or scare away from that leader. So the success of the leader would be minimal. If you want the whole thing to be a success, then you have to start being the giver instead of the receiver. So yes, leaders have to be great people. I mean, good ones. We have all kinds of leaders, as
Yes.
anybody would have. But the good ones consist of people who are strong enough to resist their own needs and go for other people's needs. And at the same time can reconcile between the needs of each group of the people and strike a balance. If anyone can do that one would be a great leader for sure.
Perfect. Very good answer. I mean, as the Kun Jakrapob inspire on this the leadership, I think the important. For people to be the leadership and to build the confidence. I think the most important, what I can summarize, what he try to experience to the world. The key word is sacrifice.
That's right. That's
to
right.
give to people first. To help to people
That's right.
first.
That's
and
right.
instead of to be a leader or to be the successfully, right, for the leadership. So
That's right.
sacrifice, that's the key word. That's from what you explained. Yes.
That's right. You have to understand people. You have to have sympathy towards people.
Yes.
And then it would come back in terms of other feelings. I believe in goodwill. Of course, powers can do a wonder, but no power can compete with understanding each other, with sympathy towards each other, because that's what human beings need.
The next question also very interesting. How Thailand has been active in the promoting the sustainable and development. What is the strategy do you see the most effective? As today, all the world, we are not talking about the business profit as a top priority today. Today we are talking the sustainable as a top priority first, because all the business and all the country around the world, we need to speak the same language.
Right.
What I can say language? It's language for clean and sustainable innovation today.
For health,
For health.
we have to speak the same language on
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Now, because in the past, many countries focus on the GDP and or the number GDP only today. Now, country development, what is the strategic development or economic, the sustainable development? That's the key point. So, if you can see what is
Yes. I like your word sustainability. I think that is the word that we have to achieve. We don't want to be successful for a short stint and become a failure. Or we have to pay so much for the cost of that short-term success. We want to be long-term and sustainable. I believe you have to start with the agenda of moderation. You have to know what people really need and what they want. In need and in want, they're two different things. I believe that in order to strike at a balance, we have to start using the less of our want, but the more of our need. Because the need is the way that we conserve the energy of the world by having people obtaining the resources they need in life, but at the same time not too much. Then you take a place of other person.
I think the sustainability, I think it's important to whole the country around the world.
Yes.
And then I think it's important for whole country to adapt and adjust. And this is the urgent action actually. Perfect. This is very good inspiration to us to learn and to be the leadership and responsibility. And we have to be aware of all this kind of mindset for
Thank
today.
you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
And
thank you.
I hope that CHG would be a great success.
Yes.
And become a vehicle for Asia to be integrated as one of the best parts of the world.
Thank you very much. I also learned from you today is about leadership have to sacrifice and then to build the confidence of people.